Hi, this video is all about exactly what you need to know and do to kickstart your process of real, genuine growth and transformation. My name is Brent Phillips. I am the founder and creator of the Awakening Dynamic System of Energy Healing and Higher Consciousness. This video is number 3 of 10 in our series on Prerequisites to Higher Consciousness. In other words, what are all the things you need to know and to be able to do so you are ready to make a huge shift forward in your life, to achieve a permanent higher consciousness, not just a little temporary experience. That's great to get started, but we're looking for a permanent, sustainable shift in your consciousness and your experience of life. So how do we do this? I'm going to share with you the exact teachings from my late mentor, Carl. Then I'm going to explain what it all means, step by step, to make it really easy. So first, the teachings. Carl would teach to begin the process of personal growth, engage your self-observer, and 1, delete the need to understand. 2, make no comparisons. And 3, release all judgments. So there's really 4 pieces there. Turn on your observer, delete the need to understand, make no comparisons, release all judgments. And if you take it kind of on the surface, you're like, what? That doesn't make a lot of sense. What the heck are you talking about? I'm going to lay it out for you step by step. So first part, turn on your observer. What the heck does that mean? This took me years to figure out. What it means is this. Most of us, through no fault of our own, grow up with a strong false identification. What does that mean? It means that we think we're something different than what we actually are. So maybe you have a cat that thinks they're a dog. That would be false identification. And all of us, or shall I say almost all of us, grow up thinking we're something we're not. Quite simply, what we all think we are is what we would call the ego, the separate piece. So most people, if you're watching this, you may think you're a man or a woman or some version of that, something in between. You may see yourself as a human or maybe a spiritual being or something like that. What I'll offer is all of those are wrong. You are not any kind of being. Why? All of our greatest master teachers through all of history from all over the world have told us the same thing, that we're all one, but we're all connected. Maybe we should pay attention, right? So I'll just put out there, the true you cannot be a man or a woman or a human or any kind of being, because you can't be a separate being and connected to everything at the same time. Now, can you? That's impossible. Either you are everything or you're a separate piece. So the body, the mind, the personality, even the soul, those are beings, they're nouns, they are separate pieces. They're not the whole. The truth of you is everything. You are the Father and the Son, the Mother and the Daughter, at the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega. Does that sound familiar? Of course it does. It's right out of the Bible. To give a better idea of this, and of course, just know, be gentle with yourself here. This is one of the harder things. Being able to turn on the observer to understand what that means is challenging. It took me years, but I'm going to make it as easy as possible. One of my buddies, his name was Kumar, amazingly gifted body worker. He learned from his teacher, Silas. And I mentioned Silas because fascinating guy. He is naturally awake. In other words, he's known the truth of life in himself as long as he can remember. He didn't have to learn it from a book like I did or a teacher. He's just naturally awake. And one time Kumar asked him something. He said, Silas, why are you getting so angry? And what Silas said was something like this. He goes, I'm not upset at all, but Silas is feeling a lot of anger. That's it. That's the observer. So you recognize that what you are is you're not the man or the woman. You're not actually a character in the play. You are the watching, the observing of their experience. So this human male body we call Brent Phillips is a sort of transmitter that sends a signal to the quote real me, the observing. Everything Brent feels, thinks, smells, tastes goes to the real me. So we want to make a distinction that the real you is the observing of the human life. You're not the man, the woman, the soul, the spirit. You are the observing of that. That's the observer. And again, This is one of the harder pieces. If you got it today, awesome. You're doing much better than me. If you don't sweat it. Keep at it. It will click, I guarantee. Awesome. So that's the first part. Turn on your observer. The second teaching is this. Delete the need to understand. And you may go, what? What are you talking about, Brent? If understanding isn't important, why did I spend all these years in school? Why do I struggle so much to understand things? So I'm going to be really crystal clear. The teaching is delete the need to understand. The teaching is not delete understanding. No, it's the need. That's the attachment. And we talked in the first couple of videos about releasing attachment, being open to outcome. This is it. That when you need to understand it, that creates an attachment. Let's say you're studying for a test. Oh God, I have to understand this by tomorrow. I'm going to fail. I'm going to get kicked out of school. I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to be a failure. I'll never be happy. All that stuff, right? That's attachment. So I would say this, welcome understanding. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Go for it. Learn, master, embody. Yes, yes, yes. Understanding is wonderful, but we don't need it. That's the difference. You can say, hey, I want to learn this. I want to know that. Great, go for it. Just know that you don't need to understand it. As an example, I remember for a brief time I lived in Manhattan Beach in the 90s. And I remember I'd go down to the beach and I'd be walking along the beach in the middle of the day and all these beautiful multi-million-dollar beach homes, they were all empty. You didn't see any humans there. What you did see was their cats. And so the humans are off working to pay for this beautiful house. The cat gets to spend all day just hanging out, enjoying it. How much do the cats understand? Nothing. That's my point. They're happy. They have this amazing life. They don't understand any of it. You don't need to understand anything. And that goes for the content in this video too. You don't need to understand it. But aim for the understanding. It's that attachment to the understanding that does all the damage. And so I'm going to give you a little bonus teaching right here, one of the most valuable things I've learned. If you're struggling to understand this, it's okay. Don't even worry about the words I'm saying. Listen to this video again and simply focus on hearing the sound of my voice, the tonation, the inflection, the various sounds that are made, the silence between the sounds. Don't worry about the words in the language. If you can do that, what will happen is you will actually take in and understand it much better at a subconscious level. So if you're a head case like me and you love to understand things, that's great. No one's asking you to let go of anything you know or understand. Just let go of the need. If you can do that, you're well on your way to success. Cool. So far, we know that we need to turn on the observer, delete the need to understand, and then make no comparisons. And this one's a little tricky because you're probably thinking, wait a minute, Brent, if I can't make comparisons or judgments, how am I going to function in the world? If I'm going to go buy a car and I don't have any ability to make comparisons or judgments, I might spend $100,000 to get an old broken down jalopy that's going to explode in 2 weeks. And so I hear you. So I want to be really clear about these words and what they mean. So when Carl teaches make no comparisons, we're not saying to get rid of your ability to make distinctions. That is important. The ability to make distinctions is a really critical part of higher consciousness and being an effective human. So if you're going to go buy a car, you need to be able to make a distinction between a valuable car that's going to be safe and reliable versus a car that's a ripoff or overpriced or unreliable or something like that. If you're going to take a job, you might want to be able to make distinctions to find a job you're capable of doing, that you will do well, where you will get promotions and raises and build a career, of course. So we do need to be able to make distinctions, to go, hey, that's red and that's blue. That's yellow and that's purple. That's $4, that's $100. These distinctions are critical. What he means by make no comparisons is comparing where you or others are at to some arbitrary scale and then judging it. So for example, you need to know how much you weigh. You might want to get on a scale. The problem is if you're comparing yourself to other people, you may go, oh my gosh, I'm at this weight, but I don't look as good in a bikini as this other woman. Or, my muscles aren't as nice as this other guy's, or something like that. That's a comparison. When you're judging yourself or others for not being as good as something else, that's what we're looking to let go of. And so you do need to be able to make distinctions in the food you eat and the exercises you do. Of course you do. That's not what we're saying to get rid of. So eat well, go to the gym, work out, whatever your thing is. It's just don't compare the result to another and give it meaning. So for example, let's say you go join a race. You do a 100-yard dash and you run it in 9.5 seconds, which is really good, but you don't win. If you go, oh my God, I'm a loser, I didn't run as fast as the other person, that's a judgment. That's a comparison. We want to let go of that so we can simply be what we are while still making distinctions. That's so critical. And the comparison and the judgment kind of go together. Because when you make a comparison, it comes with a judgment. You may be going, hey, you know what? She's no threat to me because I look better in a bikini. That's a comparison and a judgment. Or you may go, hey, you know what? I made $100,000 this year, but I feel like a loser because my brother made $200,000. That's a comparison and a judgment. And that weighs us down and sinks us. So we'll go through this all again because this is really important stuff. And I would encourage you, watch this video as many times as you need to. And if you're struggling with some of the things I'm saying, simply listen to the words and the tonation. Fall back on your visceral physical experience. And you'll be amazed at how much more you'll understand doing it that way. It's pretty crazy. So turn on your observer, delete the need to understand, make no comparisons, release all judgments. So if you're interested to learn a lot more about this, check out the links in the description, especially my 30 Days to Awakening program. It's a self-guided program with binaural beat encoded meditations, pretty much guaranteed to bring you to full spiritual awakening within a month. So if you're curious, check it out. So I want to talk a little bit more before we finish about the making comparisons. And I want to offer something one of my teachers told me once that I didn't understand at first, but it's huge over the long run. And it's this. He said, Brent, the reason that your pain in your body causes you to suffer is because your mind is comparing the experience to another time when you didn't have the pain. And that's really profound. What he's saying is, essentially, pain is just a sensation. But as an animal, we're kind of built by nature to view it as bad. But it's just a sensation. This is why Carl Wolf, at his events, you were not allowed to use the bathroom except during the formal breaks. And that seems kind of a crazy rule. But if you went to use the restroom and it wasn't a break, he would throw you out. You were gone. And I asked him once, I'm like, Carl, what's with being so strict about the bathroom? What he said was this. He said, needing to go to the bathroom is just a sensation in the body. And if you can't master that simple sensation of your biology, you're not ready for what I have to teach. You're not ready for the miracles and the higher consciousness and the 10x your income. And I'm not sure if what he said is strictly true, but there's something to it. That the reason we judge ourselves is we're unconsciously comparing our lives now to our life in the past, as well as other people's lives, as well as alternate versions of our own. And so as an example, let's say you had a Rolls Royce you drove for 10 years, and then you had to get some old beat up pickup truck because that's all you could afford. You might hate the pickup truck because you remember the Rolls Royce. But someone that had never driven a car would think the pickup was awesome. So this is a deep thing, but it's pretty simple. Just know that even for physical pain, the reason you don't like it is your mind is unconsciously comparing the pain to your memory of not having the pain and going, the pain sucks. That's the comparison. That's the judgment. A master, no matter how much money was in his bank account, would feel wealthy. It's only us humans that want to compete. We want to be on the Forbes list or be in the 1% or the 10% or the 50% or whatever. None of that means anything. Just trust that you are exactly who you need to be, with exactly the right career, exactly the right friends and family and health for the chain of experiences you came here for. It's really that simple. And if you're able to do these things, if you're able to turn on your observer, delete the need to understand, make no comparisons, release judgment, then you have checked many of the boxes. You are ready for a huge shift in your life and a permanent, better experience, higher consciousness. This is Brent Michael Phillips signing off for now. We got lots more coming. This is just video number 3 of 10 in the series. Check it out. Stay tuned. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, smash those buttons, share with your friends, and I'll see you very soon for video number 4. Until then, please take care and namaste.